And welcome to the video on Power BI. In this video of understanding Power BI DAX functions, we will take a look at the most common date functions in DAX. Let's start. Power BI basically provides a wide range of date functions ranging from the simple today function, that is to give today's date and time, as well as today UTC to give UTC date and time, to a more wider range of complex and advanced functions such as dates in period, date add, date difference, etc. So these functions can be used as a standalone function as well as part of a more advanced DAX measure or a DAX calculated column. Let us see some examples of this. Just for our understanding, let me give you an introduction of my model. So my model is going to have two tables. One is a sales store table, which is going to just have the store details, and there's one more table which is a sales order detail table, which is going to have row by row records of transaction, records of orders that are received by the stores. This is taken from the AdventureWorks 2012 database. Here we have date columns in the name of modified date, both in the sales store as well as the sales order detail table. For our clear understanding, I've just created two measures which are minimum date and maximum date, which is going to be minimum of modified date from the sales order detail and maximum of modified date from the sales order detail table. So I also have a couple of cards placed here so as to understand what each function of the date gives us with respect to the values. So I have a couple of DAX statements here which are to show the different implementations of DAX functions. To start with, I'm going to use a calendar function. Basically, a calendar function, if you see, is going to so here if you see a calendar function basically creates a table of values which are going to have all the dates that are going to be between the start date and end date. This start date and end date can just be a direct static provisioning of some dates, or it could be based on some functions as well. So in this case, I'm going to initially give a static date for this function, and let's see how the data changes. I already have the calendar date built here. So let me take an example of a calendar date here. So I'm just naming this table as a date. Maybe for easy understanding, I'll name it as date 0. And instead of a minimum and maximum date, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a static provisioning of dates using a date function. Date function, as the intelligence says, requires a year, month, and the date. So I'm just providing 2020 as the year, 1 as the month, and 1 as the day. So this is going to be my start date. So as when I give the comma, it is going to ask me for an end date. I'm again using a date function here, which is to give a new set of dates. Let me give 1 and 31. So I'm just trying to create a table that is going to have all the dates between 1st of January 2020 to 31st of January 2020. Let's see how the date table visualizes. So as you can see, this function has created a table with 31 records starting from 1st of January to 31st of January. Now, it is not just restricted at this level. As I told you earlier, this calendar function will accept a static date as well as you can also provide dates based on functions. Let's see a different implementation of same. So here I'm creating one more table called date 1. So here as you can see, this calendar is again going to ask for two dates, a start date and an end date, whereas the difference is the start date is minimum of the modified date from this table and the end date is maximum of the modified date from this table. So as I click on enter, my date table is created, which is going to have all the dates from 1/7/2005, which is the minimum date in this model, and 1/7/31/12/2008, which is the maximum date in this model. So as you can see, my minimum date and maximum date are 1/7 and 31/7/2008. So let me show you another different implementation of the same date table. So I have written one more DAX query here, which is to create a new table, which is a which gets the start date and end date based on two different functions, which are the end of month and end of month function. So here it says minimum of sales modified date from sales order detail, which as you already know is 1/7/2005. Now my end of month is going to show me the last date of that particular month. So here what I say is -1. So -1 means it is going to go to the previous month. Let me show you a separate implementation of the EVO month. So I'm creating a new date column here, which is going to have the end of month function. So end of month, as you see, it is going to return the dates in datetime format of the last day of month before or after a number of months specified. So here, as you already saw, my start date is going to be minimum of modified date. Modified it from the sales order detail table. So as I give the start date, I should also give the number of months. In my current example, you see -1 as my date. Now let us see what this value gives us. So now I've created a new calculated column in the name of column, which is going to hold this function of EO month, minimum of modified date, comma -1, which basically is going to give me the end of month of a month, that is one month prior to the minimum date. Let's see what the data shows. So my minimum date is going to be 1/7/2005, and my end of month of 1 month ahead of this is 36/2005. So which is the expected output. In this manner, if we see this table which we recently created, the date 2 table, it is going to take the end of month value of 1 month prior to the minimum date and end of month value of 1 month next to the maximum date. So the maximum date, as you know, here is 31/7/2008. So 1 month is 31/8/2008. Let's see what the value shows here. So as you can see, my last end date is 31/8/2008.